Hello clones! Today we're bringing to you a kitchen and food safety training video. We're going to make this short and to the point to be as informational for you as possible. The reason for this video is to provide a background of food and health safety standard training for you for working in the kitchen. Just a quick disclaimer, in addition to the knowledge here that you should know, short and sweet, this is an educational food safety training for CLO residents by CLO. It does not include all possible safety standards that exist and could apply to us, and we are under the mandate of the Alachua Health County Department, so we are in compliance with them for all of our kitchen standards and procedures. Some of the material in this training is sourced from SafeStaff, which is not affiliated with us, but we do give credit to them for some of the information included in this presentation. Originally, this training is 5 hours, but we're going to try to bring it to you in just 15 minutes. And here we go. Cross-contamination and food-borne illness. Cross-contamination is the process by which bacteria or other microorganisms are unintentionally transferred from one substance or object to another. For example, touching your hair and then touching a light plate, or touching your phone and then going to prepare a meal. The causes of cross-contamination are different types of microorganisms, the most common being bacteria and virus, but also some fungi and parasites can make their way in there as well. Incorrect cleaning and sanitizing can cause cross-contamination, which leaves harmful microorganisms left behind, or using too much chemicals on food contact surfaces can lead to contamination as well. In addition, different types of allergens and non-food contaminants can cause allergic reactions in different residents or contaminate food with their presence in them. Common foodborne illnesses, there's a whole bunch: E. coli, salmonella, norovirus, and more. Although all of them have different incubation periods from anywhere from around 12 hours to 4 weeks, they all cause the same symptoms, including fatigue, diarrhea, abdominal pain and cramping, fever and chills, headaches, and nausea and vomiting. Though this is a delightful accumulation of a bunch of symptoms, you do not want an illness, because anyone knows who's ever had food poisoning before or had an infection, this lasts for a little while and it is just miserable. Poor personal hygiene is the #1 cause of cross-contamination in foodborne illness. So the best way to prevent this is to have proper personal hygiene and proper food handling procedures. I'm going to hand it off to Teresa.
Okay, so we're going to talk about personal hygiene. Alright, so what you're supposed to wear during a kitchen detail. Okay, so clean clothes. I know you want to wear dirty clothes because you're going to get dirty anyway, but clean clothes for the betterment of the rest of the residents. You need to wear closed-toed shoes, tie your hair back out of your face, no dangling jewelry, and securely bandage any wounds or cuts. We don't need your blood in our food, thanks. So gloves, we should always be wearing gloves, especially when dealing with food. And so during a detail, you should change your gloves frequently, and you should wash for 20 seconds with hot soapy water. These are some instances which you should be changing your gloves or washing your hands. You know, if you come in contact with, especially your phone, or you're touching yourself on accident, or any of these other things that are listed right here. Okay, so being sick, if you have a detail, you should not come and do a detail if you are sick. If you can, try to switch the detail as soon as you can that day or in the morning. If you have a sore throat or a fever, or you're sneezing, coughing, or you're vomiting, or you have a runny nose, you should try to get it switched.
Timing and temperature of food. The temperature danger zone is a range of temperature in which food should be kept in as least amount of time as possible. For example, if something is above 41 degrees or below 135 degrees, a little confusing, but the following slides help to clear it up. And food cannot stay in this temperature range for more than 4 hours. But with our electric steam table and cold food table, foods are held at the proper temperatures. So our salad bar normally holds foods at 38 or 39 degrees, which include all of these cold foods right here. So salad and salad toppings, cold pasta salad, cut fruits, and any desserts that are refrigerated with dairy in them. Hot foods, which are held at or above 135 degrees, include any cooked hot entrees that we have for lunch or dinner, so any meats, vegetables or sauces, or pastas and grains. So if any of that is hot and prepared, it's held at a high temperature in the hot food steam table. Foods that can be stored at room temperature, there's quite a bit. You can put breads and tortillas as long as they're sealed, leave them on the counter. You can have baked goods on the counter like brownies or cake or cookies, different types of fruits, and also berries and seeds. Anything you would find in granola is also okay to store at room temperature. Food should be stored with labels, labeling what the food is and the date it was cooked. Food should be stored in a plastic container with the correct size plastic lid. Sometimes it's hard to find the right container, but search around, I'm sure you'll be able to find one, or just clean a container that is dirty and you'll be able to use that. Please try to avoid using saran wrap to cover plastic containers or using the big metal serving containers, because those do take up quite a lot of space in the fridge. Cooked food can be stored for up to 4 days in the fridge, so your spaghetti, your meatballs, anything that's a cooked hot entree, you can store it for up to 4 days in the fridge, but some other foods can keep for as long as a week, such as deli meats, cheeses, fresh vegetables, and condiments. So those are okay to store for a little longer in the fridge. And with that in mind, if you're storing a lot of food in the fridge, please keep in mind you should stack them apart so there's enough room for air circulation, so cold air is able to circulate and keep everything nice and cold.
Okay, so cleaning and sanitizing. So cleaning is removing food, dirt, and grease off of dishes, surfaces, anything like that, and you should be using a clean sponge. You should be brushing with soap, and you should actually be scrubbing the dishes. Something to keep in mind, you should just check to make sure you're cleaning well enough. You should run your hand over the plates and feel for any mist particles or oil. You can definitely feel if it's greasy. And sanitizing. We do this to reduce the microorganisms to safe levels that we don't, contaminate anyone or any of the dishes and stuff like that. So we need to be using proper dilution of the bleach or the sanitizer, using paper towels or a cleaning rag to spread that. So how to make sanitizer, this is a new thing for CLO, so when we're making this, you need to be wearing gloves, and we break off 1/4 of the blue sanitizer tablet, place it in an empty plastic bottle, and then fill the bottle with water. Don't shake it, just let it dissolve. And then you'll be using that to clean surfaces and to just sanitize anything else in the kitchen. So tips for cleaning, you should be scrubbing all cups, utensils, dishes after you use them with soap, and hot water. If a dish drops on the ground, run it through sanitizer. If a towel drops on the ground, should be putting it in the dirty laundry and get a new one. I see this dropped all the time, and it's on the floor, and people's shoes are touching the floor coming from all over campus or just all over CLO, and that's pretty gross, so we don't need to be using those to dry our dishes. And with that being said, we should be letting the dishes air dry as much as possible, even though we should be, keep on rotating and keeping, putting the dishes away when we need to, but try to let them air dry if you can. And mops and sponges, they need to be dry between uses. I know this is kind of hard, but we should be try to use the most dry mop or sponge that you can, so that way, we don't have more spreading of dirt or anything like that.
Pest control, one of our favorite topics that we deal with at CLO. Common pests that we see at CLO, not just in the kitchen, but also in the common areas and bedrooms, are American and German roaches. We actually get German roaches a bit more, not sure why, but they're those tiny little ones that will come out of your laptop if your laptop is on hibernate. Super fun. And sugar and fire ants. We'll see the ants mostly in the kitchen. More so these little sugar ants right here, they like to walk along the wall of the kitchen and get into any little residues that they see behind. The places that pests like to be in the kitchen are the toaster and microwave. We've seen fire ants around there before. The drink dispensers and counter, and walls, counters, and floors. The wall next to the coffee station, on the power lines, sometimes. Sugar ants tend to like to walk along the walls. For example, they'll go from the coffee station and look for sugar or other thing or honey over there, or they'll go by the drink dispenser where there's leftover sugar. Sugar ants like to crawl on the walls and make a big line. Avoid them. You can see the pests, you can detect them by actually seeing them, or seeing their droppings, or chew marks or food spills, or seeing or smelling something really bad, or seeing greasy looking smears around different surfaces. If you see a pest, this is very important. First, see what it's eating, or look at the trail where it came from to see what the source of the food is. And then you can get rid of it in any way necessary. That is the best way to get rid of it. And then after that, after you've disposed of the pest, whether it jumps on you or you jump on it, please tell the kitchen manager and an officer what you found so we can make sure to prevent that in the future. The best way to prevent pests is frequent cleaning and maintenance, in addition to keeping the inside of the garbage cans clean, taking out the trash, not leaving crumbs anywhere. Don't leave it, clean it! Ha-ha! Storing food properly and making sure that our windows, doors, and ventilation openings are sealed properly. That's all we have for you today. Bye!